couple of years ago, I made my longest flight here in the Alps, a 218 kilometers flat triangle. If you're wondering what a flat triangle is, well, it's an outer return in which at the end you realize you still have some time and the day is still working, so you go a little bit further to fly more distance. Anyway, this flight is very special for me, not only because of the distance, but because conditions were really nice. The wind was light, cloud base was high, thermals were really nice, and conditions were very safe overall. This time I launched from La Sembuie, my favorite spot for XC flying. It's located very close to Albertville, and it's also very close to the flying sites in Annecy. In this flight, I'm gonna take you around the Bosch, the Chartres, the Born Massif, and the Arabi, or what I like to call
the French highway.
Grab some popcorn and enjoy the flight. From La Sembuie, and the day is beautiful. We're gonna head south towards Santileer, and we'll see what the day has to offer, and let's have some fun. I'm above Dandarcluse, 2400, and I'm heading towards Mont Lambert. And well, the day seems amazing. I'm gonna try for an out and return. At La Savoyarde, and I'm heading towards Chartres. To my right there's Chambéry. Conditions are amazing. I think I've never left this place so high. If you arrive too low to Chartres, don't panic. Just work your way south along the lower ridges. You can go all the way to Santileer and beyond along this lower ridge, and then climb to the higher ridge when you find a proper thermal. Towards Grenoble, it's a little bit bumpy. It looks like it's working pretty nice over there, so I'm gonna keep going a little bit. I just left the Chartres, and I'm heading back to the Bosch. When I arrived at the Bosch, I stopped at the Mont Gelat to climb. This place can be tricky because you have to know where the breeze is coming from, and you have to be aware of the time of the day so you know where to aim at. I struggled a little bit here as this side of the ridge was just switching on, but I was patient and insisted until it finally started working. When you enter the Bosch, you have three choices to go to Annecy. You can either go through the Arclusat, Trello, the Colombier, or the Margeria. The Arclusa-Trello route works very well, but you have to be careful not to enter the Bosch Natural Reserve. The Margeria is beautiful, but it's too much of a detour for me. I personally prefer to go via the Colombier because it's more direct, and this beautiful mountain will never let you down. I then headed to Julio's that was working surprisingly well. I've had my share of low saves at this hill, so I can understand why some people prefer taking the Trello route. If you arrive off cycle, you can waste a lot of time looking for a climb, or you can even land in the valley. Roc de Bœuf was looking amazing, so I headed to the southernmost point, climbed, and glided under the clouds before crossing the lake. When my cloud street disappeared, I started to sink pretty badly and had to make a choice, head to Plainfait or to Col de la Forclaz. I headed to La Forclaz because I wanted to go to the Arabi, and this was the most direct route. Plus, it's always cool to fly above La Tournette. I left La Tournette. It was very slow, Nancy, or maybe I wasn't in the right place. Now I'm heading to Sulans, pretty high. I'm 2700. I'm gonna go to the Arabi all the way up to Pointe Percée. I'm gonna try and then come back home, and it will be a good flight. Left Sulans, I didn't climb much, about 250 meters, but I couldn't get to the cloud. So I'm heading towards, where am I heading? L'Étal, which is that mountain ahead of us. I'm gonna try to surf the Arabi from there. Let's see. Looks like the day is switching off. That's too bad, but we're gonna try to do our best. When I arrived at Pointe de Mer d'Acier, I got flushed. So I ran away across the Col des Aravis to La Clusaz, where I found a thermal that allowed me to get on the spine of the Arabi and then climb up to 3000 meters. This allowed me to glide all the way north to Pointe Percée. And since I still had time, I pushed to Pointe d'Arreux to make more distance. Well, I made it to almost the end of the Arabi. I turned around because it's really switching off. Yeah, I want to go home. Yeah, there's this high cloud that came and it's switching conditions off. Plus I have headwind. Come back, I'm still moving forward pretty decently, but yeah, looks like it's gonna switch off early today, so I'm gonna go back home. The way back was super easy despite the high cloud and the headwind, and I just jumped from climb to climb on the west faces of the Arabi. When I got down the cones, I already had the landing field on glide, But I said to myself, why don't I try to close this flight properly and try to fly back to takeoff? Well, I ended up having one of the most epic soaring sessions of my life. Let's go. My flight is over, but I can still have fun with the slopes here in Santileer. I just came a little bit closer just to see, and it's funny, it's even climbing. It's amazing. Well, this is what I call closing flight. The battery on my camera died, but I managed to reach the top of La Petite Santileer and enjoy a long glide before landing. Besides being my longest flight here in the Alps, I think it's been the most beautiful one. And I think what made it so special, it was that soaring session towards the end of the flight. The day was amazing and I wasn't expecting it to work so well towards the end of the flight. As always, I learned quite a few things from this flight. The first one would be to get out of my comfort zone. I was too conservative and chickened out. I should have crossed to Vercors and make it an actual out and return, and that would also make me discover a new area. The second lesson was in Annecy. I think going to La Tournette wasn't the best idea. I know it's beautiful, but it made me lose quite a bit of time. A better option would have been flying through the Trello, then to Marlens, and connect to the Chartres so I could go up through the Arabi. I did this transition for the first time last year, and you can see it in this video here. The second lesson I learned was when I got flushed at Mer d'Acier. I didn't quite understand what happened here, but my guess is that the southerly wind was already very present, so I should have warmed up and head to the south face or go to L'Étal to climb. Fortunately, things were working pretty well at La Clusaz. I think the final lesson from this flight is something that I already know, and it's that even if I love flying far and breaking records and competing and winning XC contests and all that stuff, there's nothing like a smooth, rich soaring session when the sun is setting. Well, I hope you liked this video and that you learned something from it. If you like this kind of video, you might want to check out my Patreon page where I usually post this kind of videos. Not only you'll support this channel, but you'll get to watch my videos before everyone else. And other benefits like private messaging, one-to-one calls to talk about flying. Well, that's all for now. Remember to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't, and well, until the next one, have a nice flight. Bye!